Next.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next.
Order number 5, papers.
Next.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
The Honorable Leader of Majority, give notice of your motion. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, before I even move the notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, allow me to extend my welcoming remarks to the students of Sahosa in Chaikwad, Mr. Speaker, maybe to inform them, because I'm seeing they are grown-ups, Mr. Speaker, maybe just to inform them that County Assembly of Kericho is one of the arms of the county governments. This is the legislative arm of the county government of Kericho, who transact business on behalf of the people, and we have 30 elected representative members of the county assembly, and equally we have 17 nominated members of the county assembly to make a total of 47 members of the county assembly, and we are led by the speaker, who is in front of us, seated. So maybe just to say welcome, feel free, move around and make sure you are keen to learn. Yes, I wish you the best. Go study. Make sure one day, one time, if not all of you, some of you, to make to these honorable laws in future. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Allow me now, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move a notice of motion that this House adopts the status report of the Selection Committee on the review of membership to various county assembly committees. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. All right, thank you, the Honorable Leader of Majority, the Honorable Philip Rono, our member of County Assembly from Kamasha and what? Clerk, next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, we have one statement that was committed to the Committee on Land, Housing, Physical and Planning and Settlement, and this was a statement raised by the Honorable Edna Tonu, who is our nominated MCA from Belgut. And the Chairman, Committee on Land, I give you an opportunity to you table your report before the House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir, for the opportunity you have granted me, Mr. Speaker, so that I can respond and table a report on a statement which was sought by one Honorable Edna Tanu from Waldai Ward, nominated MCA. Mr. Speaker, before I table the report, Mr. Speaker, allow me to join you and my colleagues in welcoming the students, teachers, and the entire community of Sahosa who have visited our assembly, to tell them to feel welcome, feel free. This is a replica of a national assembly whereby we do legislation, representation, and oversight. So feel welcome. Kericho County Assembly is one of the 47 county assemblies in the Republic of Kenya, and feel welcome. Mr. Speaker, on the 22nd May 2024, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Edna Tanu sought a statement in the floor of the House regarding the size of the following parcel of land in Sosiat Town. One was Sosiat Playground, number 2, Sosiat Health Center, number 3, Sosiat Police Station, and number 4, Sosiat Market Land, and whether the same parcels of land have been encroached. Mr. Speaker, Sosiat Market or Sosiat Center is one of the centers in Belgut sub-county, domicile in Waldai Ward. The statement entails the following. 1, the total number of acreage that Sociod Playground occupies in Belcourt Sub-County. The second issue she wanted to be addressed is the total number of acreage that Sociod Health Center occupies. The third was that the total number of acreage that the police station in Belcourt Sub-County occupy. Number 4, the fourth is the total acreage of both markets for cattle auction, yard, and open market. The fifth was what is the status of the said parcels of land in terms of ownership and encroachment. The sixth and the final one was what plans as the Department of Lands, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement put in place in ensuring that all public lands is secured. The statement was committed, Mr. Speaker. The statement was committed to the Committee on Lands, Housing and Physical Planning on 22nd May 2024 for further inquiry and reporting to the House within a period of 14 days. The committee thereafter engaged the Department of Land, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement, who responded through a letter reference number KCH LHPB CA volume 2/30 dated 7th August 2024, which is annexed as annexure number 2, a response by CC in charge of Lands, Housing and Physical Planning. 2.2 was the response from the executive, Mr. Speaker. According to the records available in the Department of Land, Housing and Physical Planning, the following status of parcel of land in Sociod Market, which is annexed number 2, response by CC in charge of Lands, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement. They are as follows. 1, the background of Sociod Town. Sociod Market is located in Belcourt Sub-County, Waldai Ward, and is registered as Kericho/Sociod 309. It is about 18 kilometers from Kericho CBD, Central Business District, and at the key arterial road, which is C25, Kapsoid Sondu, influencing its growth. This town has a linkage of major economic hubs in Sondu Market, in Sondu Town, Kapsoid Market Center, and Kericho Municipality. Sociod serves as a key administrative role, being the headquarters of Belcourt Sub-County, as illustrated in the outline of Sociod Market Center boundary. Mr. Speaker, that sketch map is what shows the entire market of Sociod Center, that is Sociod Market Center boundary. So that is a boundary which demarcates Sociod Center. Sociod Town development plans. In terms of development planning, the first plan for Sociod was prepared in the year 2002. The plan was, however, never been approved as by the provision of the Physical Planning Act, Cap 286. A cross-check of the plan is in relation to the ground reveal discrepancy between the existing and proposed. The area set aside for the playground, for instance, is depicted as being rectangular, yet it is irregular in shape. Mr. Speaker, I don't know if you have a clear sketch, but that is how that is the development plan for Sociod. Number 2 is the Sociod Market Center development plan. It is on this background that the department in a financial year of 2023-2024 set aside funds for the provision of Sociod Market Development Plan. The plan as prepared is indicated below, showing the public lands as on the ground. That is on page 7, shows the physical land use development plan for the area. The size which is revised after, which was not approved, which was developed in 2002. This is a revised one. The size of the public purpose land as indicated on the plan is 3.4 hectares, comprising of 21% of the whole parcel of land. Number 2.3, Mr. Speaker, is the response to the County Assembly Committee on Land, Housing and Physical Planning. That is now the question number 1, the acreage of the public parcel of land. In order to respond to the question by the County Assembly, the department made reference to the just completed but yet to be approved Sociod Local Physical and Land Use Development Plan. The response is as outlined below. Sociod Playground. Sociat Playground is located next to the Sociat Girls High School and occupies a total of 1.977 hectares, which is 4.885 acres. In terms of encroachment, part of the land was carved out and credited to Sociat Girls High School as part of their playing field. Since both are for public use, the same has been regularized in the new plan for Sociat Market. Mr. Speaker, the Sociat Playground was a large portion of land which was allocated for playground. But Mr. Speaker, Sociat Girls has a limited space for playground, Mr. Speaker. So the playground was carved and it has been regularized and it is now fully registered under Sociat Girls. Thus, the total acreage which was for playground has reduced because a portion was allocated to Sociat Girls, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, on that pictorial, you will see the Sociat Playground, the Sociat Health Center. Sociat is located next. Sociat Health Center is located next to the administration offices along the Kapsoid Sondo Road. Its total acreage is 0.987 acres, which is 2.439 acres. There are no encroachment on the parcel of land, Mr. Speaker. That is for Sociat Health Center. No encroachment, and it is as it is. The police station. The public station is approximately 0.484 acres, which is 1.196 acres in size. The parcel are illustrated in the figure, Mr. Speaker. The sort of the statement, Mr. Speaker, wanted to note the acreage, Mr. Speaker, and we are provided, although maybe the pictorial will not be that much clear, but we have shown the police station. Police station is just opposite the health center. The cattle auction yard. The cattle auction yard had been subdivided and allocated according to the development plan of 202. The allocation was, however, cancelled, and the portion of land is now available for cattle auction yard illustrated below. Is approximately 0.295 acres, 0.72 acres. Mr. Speaker, the cattle yard initially, Mr. Speaker, was a big portion, but in the 202, it was subdivided into the plots. But during the revision of the development plan, all the plots which were allocated were cancelled, and now the entire land which was existing is now free for it is being used as cattle yard. So it was never issued. Open air markets. The open air market is within what can be referred to as Sociat Market Center CBD. It is surrounded with commercial plots. There are no encroachment on this parcel of land. Mr. Speaker, I am privy to the information, and my understanding, Mr. Speaker, is that the area which was allocated for air market has never been encroached. However, there is development going on now. One of the special ESP market, which was a presidential under presidential manifesto of constructing 400 markets across the country, Mr. Speaker. One is in Belgood, and now it is sitting on this particular land. So it is under utilized now, and it has never been encroached. Mr. Speaker, the sort of the statement wanted to note the ownership of the details of those lands. The parcel of land enlisted above are within the land registered as Kericho Sociat 309, registered under the Diffak County Council of Kipsigis, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, all the lands initially, which were public lands or government lands, were registered under County Council of Kipsigis, which were within Kericho, Mr. Speaker. But all after the TA, the Transition Authority, all were transferred from County Council, and now they belong to Kericho County. Although there are no copies of ownership documents, such indicates that indeed it is a public land reserve under the County Council of Kipsigis, which is now the county government of Kericho for Sociod Market, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Department of Lands plans, Mr. Speaker, because Edna wanted to know the plans, Mr. Speaker. The outcome of the preparation of development plan is the acquisition of ownership document. In order to safeguard the parcel of land, the department shall, upon approval of the plan, undertake survey and course registration of the same. Further measurements shall include surveying of all public land, including PI lands within the market, registration and acquisition of ownership document, which will follow, fencing of the public lands, Mr. Speaker, upon the availability of the resources, updating the inventory of the public land, and digitizing of the public land, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as Chairman Lands, Mr. Speaker, and I want to be proud of the Committee on Budget, Mr. Speaker, because one big monster in this county, Mr. Speaker, is the encroachment, Mr. Speaker, of public lands, Mr. Speaker, and robbery of public lands, Mr. Speaker. So when we appeared before, when the department, Mr. Speaker, appeared before us, Mr. Speaker, and we asked them the challenges they are facing, why they have not secured and digitized and document and registered all public land, Mr. Speaker, they claim that there was no fileable budget, Mr. Speaker, for registration and digitalization of this, Mr. Speaker. But when we faced the Committee on Budget, Mr. Speaker, we were allocated. And I want to categorically say, in this current financial year, 2024-2025 budget, Mr. Speaker, the Committee of Lands allocated almost 11.9 million, Mr. Speaker, towards what we call GIS mapping, Mr. Speaker. GIS mapping, Mr. Speaker, will be used now to put these all the public lands, Mr. Speaker, into a digital platform, Mr. Speaker. And there will be no encouragement whatsoever. And that is geared towards now the registration. You find, Mr. Speaker, the allocation of resources, Mr. Speaker, was directed towards one directorate in the department, and it was always to the Department of Public Housing, Mr. Speaker, whereby there was the renovation of houses. But other directorates, Mr. Speaker, like surveying, which are the major integral part in guarding the public land, Mr. Speaker, was never allocated any funds. But now, Mr. Speaker, watch this space, Mr. Speaker, and as a committee, will ensure that we digitize all the public land, and we are starting within the Kericho municipality, Mr. Speaker. What are the committees of observation, Mr. Speaker? The following are the observation. One, that the county is endowed with enormous resources in terms of land, building, and natural resources, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the second is that most of the parcels of land were unsurveyed, and this impede the determination of ownership, Mr. Speaker. Number three, a number of encroachment were noted, particularly on unsurveyed public lands, Mr. Speaker. Last week, Mr. Speaker, there was a statement which was tabled here, Mr. Speaker, a response by Committee on Trade and on the Nyakacho market, Mr. Speaker. And it was clearly that the market has been encroached, and public and some of the churches have constructed their churches within the market. So, Mr. Speaker, most of the public lands has been encroached, Mr. Speaker. Large parcels of land remain designated for certain development projects and programs, but have remained undeveloped and undetermined, Mr. Speaker. That is why, Mr. Speaker, there must be regular change of development plans, Mr. Speaker. And that is why there was an amendment of the Sociod development plan, which was done in 2002. So it has been now replanned for new development. Ownership titles, ownership title and land registration number for some parcel of land and building were not verified. There were building on different local authorities land that belong to national government, religious organization, and community. Within, Mr. Speaker, the percentage of land which we have touched on it, Mr. Speaker, just a number of few. within Sociod Market, Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of public lands, Mr. Speaker, like the Sociod Girls, the lands which belong to, which are registered under national government, like the primary schools, Mr. Speaker, are registered under the national government. We have charges within, and those are under religious. So there is a lot of public and within, Mr. Speaker. But what we measured most, Mr. Speaker, is what the sort of the statement requested. What was the recommendation of the committee, Mr. Speaker? One of the recommendations is that the department should fast track the development of a policy on the management of all public and land across the county, Mr. Speaker. This has been a song all through, Mr. Speaker, but I'm proud to report to this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, but currently we are developing a bill under land management bill, Mr. Speaker, which is under the committee stage, Mr. Speaker, and once we approve that bill and assigned to be an act, Mr. Speaker, it will bring into an end this issue of land misappropriation, land encroachment, Mr. Speaker, across the county. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, is the county should develop an inventories of assets at the county headquarters and sub-counties, Mr. Speaker. So that is one of the recommendation. And what are we going to do so that these inventories and this recommendation cannot be just be put, Mr. Speaker? I have said function follow resources, Mr. Speaker. And that is why we have allocated resources towards the same so that all the inventories are kept in a software called the GIS under the GIS lab, Mr. Speaker. The department should fast track the surveys of all parcels, secure titles, and fencing them to avoid encroachment by unscrupulous individuals, Mr. Speaker. That is a major work which we are doing currently as a department, which the department is doing, Mr. Speaker, and we are oversighting to ensure that they are done. Most of the markets, Mr. Speaker, have been done development, and we are now going on with surveying and demarcation of boundaries, Mr. Speaker. The county should develop all land parcels designated for various projects and programs. Number 5, the department should prepare a path development plan for all town centers and markets in the town. I think 90% of all our markets and towns, Mr. Speaker, the department has developed what we call development plans, Mr. Speaker. So I think surveying and registration should follow suit. Number 6, the county should engage the services of caretakers and residents living within the surrounding county person. The county person should be vigilant to safeguard them from the land grabbers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what we need to do, Mr. Speaker, I think under the bill, the land management bill, Mr. Speaker, we'll see and put some input, Mr. Speaker, so that all the public lands which has never been developed, Mr. Speaker, we leave them under the caretakers of the town management committees, Mr. Speaker, because we understand every town, Mr. Speaker, has a committee called Town Management Committee. So all the public lands, we will ensure that it is safeguarded, and Mr. Speaker, and it should be under the care of the ward administrator and the chiefs or the administration of the government, Mr. Speaker, so that we avoid this losing these enormous resources, Mr. Speaker. The county should conduct valuation and tracking of all assets, Mr. Speaker. I think valuation role was developed and it was challenged, Mr. Speaker, and I think, Mr. Speaker, we should see on how to amend the valuation role. So because, Mr. Speaker, one challenge we have in this county, Mr. Speaker, the reason why our revenue is deteriorating, Mr. Speaker, is because we are not enforcing our land rates, Mr. Speaker, in our county, Mr. Speaker. See, the reason is a simple one. One is because we don't have valuation role, Mr. Speaker. Because if you have an asset side right now within town, Mr. Speaker, you will realize that they don't enforce valuation, Mr. Speaker, and there is discrepancies, Mr. Speaker. You may find a more like, which is opposite us, Mr. Speaker, they are being charged maybe $1 million million shilling rate by year, Mr. Speaker. And then when you go to the next adjacent, let's say a petrol station like that, with the same acreage, Mr. Speaker, they are being charged 200,000. So there is discrepancies, Mr. Speaker, and all of them are within the same municipalities, Mr. Speaker. And the challenge which has been brought about by that, Mr. Speaker, is because we don't have the valuation role. The government uses a lot of resources to develop valuation role, but there was a challenge. And Mr. Speaker, we are under your direction, Mr. Speaker, we need to ensure that the executive, Mr. Speaker, amend the valuation role and bring it to this honorable so that we approve the new valuation role so that it can be implemented and be used to enforce on revenue collection, Mr. Speaker. One of the key main revenue giver in this county, Mr. Speaker, is land rate, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, it is the highest, but without a valuation role, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if this county has a potentiality of collecting to 1 billion shilling, Mr. Speaker, on land rates only, Mr. Speaker. But only the target, when you say the targets by the executive is nearly 200 million, Mr. Speaker, and they cannot even collect those 200 million simply because there is no valuation role, Mr. Speaker. The Committee on Revenue, the other committee, we visited the department, Mr. Speaker, and we were given a booklet of a report by the valuation, which was a valuation role, Mr. Speaker, and we found that they are not enforcing. So that is something, Mr. Speaker, which we need to make a conscious decision over the same. Others, Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank you, Mr. Speaker, as acknowledgement for allowing me to take this opportunity to thank the Committee on Lands, members of Land, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement for their input and valuable contribution to this committee, Mr. Speaker. I will not forget, Mr. Speaker, to thank the members of the Secretariat because of the valuable role, Mr. Speaker, and the administration, Mr. Speaker, for the necessary support they have accorded to us, Mr. Speaker. So on behalf, Mr. Speaker, of the Committee on Land, Housing and Physical Planning and Settlement, Mr. Speaker, in pursuant to the Standing Order number 205, Mr. Speaker, it is now my great pleasure duty to present to this Honorable House, Mr. Speaker, the committee report on the statement which was sought by Honorable Edna Tani for consideration and approval by this Honorable House. I table, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you, the Honorable Hezron Ngetich, Chairman, Committee on Land, Housing, Fiscal and Planning and Settlement. For your report, and honorable members, I will open the floor for discussion, comments, and observation on the same, and then we will proceed to the next order. The Honorable Julius Siele, who is a member of the County Assembly from Waldai, where Associate is situated. Your observation and comments, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Committee on Land and Housing for the job well done. However, I've got only a few reservations that is concerning the salient. I've seen the numbering of the land, but I don't actually see the actual measurement on the accessibility to this land. I've seen something written 9 meters. That is the road. But when you go to the actual or physical playground, you don't see the actual 9 meter as indicated here. The road reserved to assess the salient is too small. It's not what you have actually given us. So that is my point of concern. Also, many of the landlords of that area are still arguing that they were not allocated the right measurement. I don't know whether it is 33 or 31 who came to my place arguing that the parcel that was allocated to him is not the actual size. So what is your take as a chair? So but that is my point of concern. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Right, thank you, the Honorable Julia Sil, the Honorable Eric B.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me this opportunity to make my comments on the report tabled by the Honorable Hezron Ngetich. Mr. Speaker, before then, allow me also to join you and the colleagues by welcoming the student from South Secondary School, Mr. Speaker.
Primary school.
Primary school. These are also rules and procedures. By the end of this session, Mr. Speaker, the pupils, the students have actually learned our roles, which are being carried out in this outcast house, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm very keen and very concerned about the report, the observation which has been tabled, Mr. Speaker. One, we've seen in various occasions the Department of Lands, led by the CC and the CO, Mr. Speaker, have not done the best. They have actually slept on their job. And Mr. Speaker, this is not the right trajectory, whereby, as stipulated by their role, Mr. Speaker, they should be doing the surveys to all our lands. Mr. Speaker, I don't see the reason why each and every time our towns are being encroached by the cartel, Mr. Speaker. And when they swore that they are going to do their work, Mr. Speaker, when we did approval from this house, Mr. Speaker, they said that they are going to do their work diligently, Mr. Speaker. So I have not seen, I'm not contending with their roles to find out that all the lands, for example, Mr. Speaker, even within Kericho town, Mr. Speaker, we've seen and we are actually experiencing a lot of encroachments by the cartels. There are several of them, Mr. Speaker. If you go to Litain, if you go to Sondu, where I come from, Mr. Speaker, all the lands has been encroached. And these people are behaving that they are doing their own, Mr. Speaker. I don't see why we should be coming with a good report like this one, and there is no proper implementation. Mr. Speaker, I think you are not aiding anywhere when we see people losing their public land, Mr. Speaker. For example, in Social, the other day, Mr. Speaker, they are looking for a land to build, to expand a facility, a health center, Mr. Speaker. They are now planning to do a purchasing. And of course, we are very aware, and you have been given by the report that there is a lot of parcels of land has been encroached. Why are we spending the taxpayers' money by purchasing other lands, yet you already have the public land which should be developed, Mr. Speaker? So I'm very shocked, and I want to say that, Mr. Speaker, by approving the report, Mr. Speaker, we should be given a timeline whereby if the Department of Land has been given money to do the GIS, Mr. Speaker, they should fast track. And also the report should come back, what are the progress? What have the, for this year, Mr. Speaker, we are handing the first quarter, and the fund was set aside for the department to conduct the survey. Mr. Speaker, they were given also to do the GIS, to table all the public lands and secure the titles, deeds, and of course, Mr. Speaker, to fence them to avoid the further encroachment by the unscrupulous individual. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to request you, your office, and also to make direction, Mr. Speaker, is within what the department has done within the first quarter. For the money which was allocated this year, Mr. Speaker, what have they done? Are they sleeping on their job? So that we should not be wasting. I know the honorable members are busy seeking statements. And the statement also we are tabling them each and every day, Mr. Speaker, whereby we are wasting the taxpayers' money by coming up with a very good reports like this one, Mr. Speaker. So I need your direction kindly. This is not the first report, this is the third report which has been tabled in this house. And I know there are so many others which are going to be tabled. Are we doing justice to our people, Mr. Speaker, by only tabling the reports and there's nothing being done? So I believe, Mr. Speaker, today it will be a game changer. This report is good and it is very clear. It is black and white, Mr. Speaker. The land has been grabbed by the cartels and the county government is just sitting waiting. I don't know if the man is from Melbourne, Mr. Speaker, or anywhere, but we need to do justice to our people, and this report should be implemented immediately. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you, the Honorable Eric B. That is the Honorable Member of County Assembly from Kabelela Aritet Ward. The Honorable Matthew, and you have your visitors at the public gallery. I hope you will provide them with tea after this session. The Honorable Member from Chai Ward. Proceed.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your support, being the senior and the head of this administration, Mr. Speaker, you will support and you will make our visitors also feel that they are in this county assembly. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to join you and my colleagues to welcome pupils from Saosa Primary with the teachers who have accompanied them. Mr. Speaker, this is among the best schools that I have in my ward, and I want to wish them all the best as they are joining us today to learn and to understand the roles of this county assembly, Mr. Speaker. I know they have come here to also know whether what we are doing here is what is happening in the ground. But nevertheless, Mr. Speaker, I want to welcome them and to thank the teachers who have managed even to organize for this trip, since that we have a number of primary schools in this county, Mr. Speaker, but not all of them can make to this county assembly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the report of Lands Committee, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of social playground or social land issue, Mr. Speaker, I want just to commend, Mr. Speaker, that during our budget committee sitting, Mr. Speaker, we have allocated some amount to this department, Mr. Speaker, so that we ensure that all the lands, all the public lands, Mr. Speaker, that we have in this county can be processed documentation, Mr. Speaker. You understand, Mr. Speaker, even Department of Agriculture, Mr. Speaker, they are doing a very wonderful tea buying centers, Mr. Speaker. Department of Education, we are doing a very wonderful and very standard ECD centers, Mr. Speaker. And each and every department has something to do with the land issue, Mr. Speaker. And I know they allocated 11 million for the GIS, Mr. Speaker, mapping. I think this one will also help the county government and the county executive to be able even to have the beacons in these lands, Mr. Speaker. In ICT department, Mr. Speaker, where I am a member, we have a number of playing grounds in this county, Mr. Speaker. One being Londiani playing ground, Mr. Speaker. We have Sociot playing ground, Mr. Speaker. We have Kapkatet. And we have other towns where we have playing grounds, Mr. Speaker. But up to date, Mr. Speaker, when the department tried to do fencing to this playing ground, Mr. Speaker, at some point, it is not easy for the department to do anything because these lands, documentation are not there, Mr. Speaker. But with the chairman land, where I know that he's a very serious guy, he can help the department also during budget, Mr. Speaker, this is the department we normally allocate money even without consulting so much, Mr. Speaker. Reason is that we want this public land, or we want anything pertaining land, Mr. Speaker, being documented, because we are here today, Mr. Speaker, but in the next, let's say 10 years or 5 years, Mr. Speaker, new members of the county assembly will be here. So for the prosperity of this county government, Mr. Speaker, and the county assembly, I think it is high time that this old project that we are doing in the public land, Mr. Speaker, the Department of Lands should provide documentation in each and every public land, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday, the other week, Mr. Speaker, we were discussing about Nyagacho market, Mr. Speaker, and we have a number of churches. I wonder how this place will work, because in a small town like that, we have a number of churches showing every corner in a public land, Mr. Speaker. I think chairman of lands and budget also should sit down and see whether the money that allocated is enough to do all these things, Mr. Speaker. And you know now that we are discussing about Chelimo issue, Mr. Speaker. Every public land, Mr. Speaker, should the department should provide documentation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to also welcome students from Saosa and give my point concerning this statement report, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, the Honorable Matthew, and the Honorable visitors from the public gallery. That is your Honorable MCA. He remains told in the House, just the way he's told in Chai Court. The Honorable Martin Cheruiyot.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this statement that was sought by Honorable Edna Tani. And before that, Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me also to join you and my colleagues in welcoming the students and teachers from Saosa Primary School. That most welcome. This is a place for you to learn. Like it has been said, this county assembly, which is as like the National Assembly. Thank you so much, the Honorable Speaker. Concerning the statement that has been sought by the Honorable Member Edna Tani, it touches on a very sensitive issue of land, and it has the issue of land has come up severally in this House, and the recommendations that has been made by the committee on lands are very good recommendations that needs to be followed and accomplished, so that all the public land, not only in Soshot, Mr. Speaker, but across our county, is secured, and documentation of this public land regularized. Like what the Honorable Member has said about the developments that are ongoing. We have developments now, programs carried out by the county government that at times the contractors are disadvantaged because some of these lands, parcel of lands, are not regularized in terms of documentation. So I want to urge that this report with the recommendation is a very good report, the Honorable Speaker, and I want to urge the executive that it follows up on the recommendations, so that the lands across Soshot and the rest, this statement or this report is an eye-opener, not only for Soshot. I remember last week we tabled again about the Nyagacho, and we raised a lot of encouragements that has been done. So this report is an eye-opener. And also, I want to say that our implementation committee from the Assembly, Mr. Speaker, sir, should also make a follow-up on the recommendations even, and how the executive work, so that this, what has been put down in terms of inventory of the public lands, digitizing, is done. And I want to thank the committee of lands headed by my chairman, able chairman, that as he has said, there is a budget for this, so we want to see works done. We have enormous work in this, the lands of department, in the Department of Lands, and we want to say that let them commit to the recommendations of the Lands Committee, and all the public lands be secured for progress and development. Others, thank you so much, the Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
All right, thank you, the Honorable Fancy. Then I will give it finally to the Honorable Chief Whip. And then we will move to other order of business. Please, honorable members, if you allow that. Honorable Fancy, who is also from Chai Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this chance. And I would like to welcome our visitors who are in the gallery from Sausa Primary School. Welcome to County Assembly. This is a house of rules and procedures, and you will get to learn more as we go ahead. I would also want to congratulate Sausa Primary because they are the best, not in Chaik, Mr. Speaker, sir, but in Kericho County. Workshop is the best, and Sausa is coming the second. And also congratulating them on the safety policies which they implement in their school. Mr. Speaker, sir, when you go there, you find fire assembly, and the exits are very, very good because they've implemented. And also the teachers have really taught them about the fire policy. So congratulations, and maybe I take this opportunity to welcome all other primary schools to come and benchmark from you, because they will learn from you. And again, I'll take this opportunity to tell county government that it is high time to inspect all our schools so that our schools will be safe, and we would be having a report that all the schools are having all these policies. Thank you, Sausa, and all the teachers who've come, and thank you for the good work. Back to the business, Mr. Speaker, sir. We went to the lands office the other day because I'm one of the I'm in ad hoc committee on revenue collection, and we found out the evaluation role which was implemented the other year, the year 2021. It was passed in this house, Mr. Speaker, sir, but it has never been implemented. It is just there. So Kericho County is just as good as they don't have evaluation role. So we asked, which one are you using at this time? And they said they were using a 204, 206 one, but it is never found again. So it is high time that we tell the lands committee plus the land department that they need to implement this, because it is there, the evaluation role is there, but it has never been implemented. They said that someone went to the court, and we asked them again if there is a court injunction, and to date we've never found the court injunction. So they must implement this evaluation role, because it will help us in collecting the land rates in Kericho County. And as the chair again have said about the GIS is there, but they lack support, so that they use this system to collect these revenues. So we recommend that the GIS be supported so that they collect the revenue, Mr. Speaker, sir. So, and again, it is high time that we have the land management bill in Kericho County, because we do not have, like Nakuru County, they have land management bill. It will address all these issues of land. When you go to every town, every small town in this Kericho County, the land has been grabbed. So you cannot do any business because the lands have been grabbed. It is in someone's name, and it will not make us move from doing any business. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is high time we give the land management bill in this Kericho County so that it will address all these issues. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, the Honorable Fancy. The Honorable Chief Whip, who also doubles up to be the National Vice Chair of all the majority whips in Kenya, the Honorable Aaron Rotich. Proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first join hands in welcoming pupils and teachers from Sausa, that is in Chaik Ward and Belwood Sub-County. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I want to also give my input on the statement that was sought by the Honorable Edna Tanui. To the last chair, I want to thank the chair and the committee for having made this comprehensive report that is actually touching on the issues pertaining to the lands that has been encroached in Sosiot, that is in Belgut Sub-County. Mr. Speaker, having seen the maps that are here, I also want to say that there is a massive, like what the Honorable Chair Agriculture, that is the Honorable Julius said, in Sosiot, Mr. Speaker, like it has been put very clearly in the maps here, that there are some of the areas that are noted as freehold areas. And the areas that actually are marked for markets and also hospital, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that the other day, Mr. Speaker, we had a challenge because you see, the only sub-county that is lagging behind in the issues pertaining to the facility or sub-county hospital, Mr. Speaker, is only Belgut. So, Mr. Speaker, the challenge that we have had for several years, that is in our sub-county, has been the issues of land encroachment. And to be very precise, I want to, as I thank the chairman, I remember very well that in the previous year, Mr. Speaker, we appropriated in this assembly an amount of approximately 8 million, that is for planning purposes of Sosiot market. But to date, Mr. Speaker, we have not received, and I think it's high time that we also sought, because you see, we need value for money. If we gave them about 8 million for planning, that is probably last year. That is Sosiot, to be very precise. Mr. Speaker, we also need to see that planning, because you see, I expected that there should have been an elaborate report that is showing that after planning, this is what actually came out using the money that we gave them in this flow, Mr. Speaker. So, Chairman, as I congratulate on the report, I'm also going to move forward as one of the members that are representing good people of Belgut sub-county. I want to say that we need the value for money that we gave them of estimately about 8 million. So, number two, Mr. Speaker, the reason why we are lagging behind, again, Mr. Speaker, is because as Belgut, we only have some small portion of land that we, as we want to probably going forward, we've been trying to probably expand the hospital from current status of a health center to a status of a sub-county hospital. The only sub-county that is lagging behind is because of these issues. So probably we want to thank our sponsors that have come to assist, that is Safaricom. They have said they are going to build a mother and child health center that is in Sosiot. Number two, I also want to thank our county government for we are going to build a new facility that is going to be worth over 100 million plus. So that is a plus to our sub-county, and I think going forward, all public lands, and I remember very well in 2019, Mr. Speaker, in 2020,
we made, there was a committee that was formed that was called Intergovernmental Committee, which was tasked in identification of all public lands ranging from all our sub-counties. Today, Mr. Speaker, I have not seen the report. Because you see, I remember very well there was some committee that was picked here. There's a committee that was being sent from the national government, and eventually they were merged together so that they could make a comprehensive report showing all the public lands in every sub-county. To me, I think that is also something that will help probably this House guide us as also MCAs going forward in identification, and also for us to safeguard the properties of our good people in our respective areas. As I went up, Mr. Speaker, there was also an issue that was raised by the Honorable Julius Sele on the issue pertaining to Seliad. I believe, like I've seen, there's a good map here that has been open air market. I've seen cattle auction yard. I believe if this thing is going to be implemented, like that has been drawn here, this thing, the center would have been properly planned. So going forward, Mr. Speaker, I think we need, as probably the House or even the MCAs representing good people of our various sub-county, our own sub-county in particular, we need to be given probably what the fiscal plan or the actual planning of Sociot sub-county, that is Sociot market or center at large, because we gave them approximately 8 million. That is what we are going to sort, Mr. Speaker, and I thank you for the opportunity. Asante sana.
Okay, thank you, the Honorable Chief Whip, Aaron Rotich. Honorable members, so of course you are aware of our standing order number 48, where a statement has been requested from a committee. The Speaker may only allow comments in relation to the statement for not more than 15 minutes. Honorable members have been lenient using my standing order number 1, and of course we have spent more than 15 minutes on listening to your comments and observations because of the critical matter of not only social development plan, but planning for the whole county government of Kericho. Honorable members, listening to all this, and since Honorable Edna is not here, of course all the other members have spoken, but a number of key matters have been raised, and the chairman Lands is here. We want to appreciate and thank you for the good job that you have done. But a number of issues that have been raised. Number 1, of course, honorable members, is the committee, you realized, relied mainly on an approved social development plan to respond to this matter, which of course the committee should not be blamed because they are seeking information from the executive. That should be noted. Secondly, there are issues that have been raised by these honorable members, including even captured in this report, on the aspects of the evaluation role, as Honorable Fancy from Chaika has mentioned, that there is one that was approved by this assembly, evaluation role in 2021, but it has never been implemented by the county executive, that is from the governor's end. Thirdly, on the same, Honorable Fancy, you also mentioned about the aspect of a court case or injunction. Those things need to be made it very clear. The Honorable Chairman for Lands, you mentioned something about the land management bill, which you say it's in process. The Honorable Chief Whip and the others, and other honorable members who have contributed. You have also touched on a very important matter, on the matter of past allocations by this assembly in regards to development of Sociot plan and surveying of that land accordingly. And in this committee, honorable members, the committee report as tabled by the chairman Lands, there is the aspect of utilization of all parcels, which there is an indicator that there is still land in Sosiot, whereas there is also a request that has already been made at some point in time, requesting for more land in terms of purchasing land. Yet this report is indicating that there is land. Those are salient issues that I'm just putting down as raised by you honorable members. The other thing again that we have noted is that previous requests raised by the Department of Land, as I've mentioned, needs to be verified whether those things were done in terms of procurement of that land. And I know, and we must thank, of course, the Honorable Chief Whip, that is the Honorable Harold Rotich, for bringing this into play. The matter of Safaricom Limited, that is partnering with the county government. And of course, as you are aware, honorable members, this house is, we have responsibility in terms of giving out facts. And we are all aware that our own Senator, the Honorable Aaron Cheriot, and of course, negotiated with the Honorable Safaricom Limited so that they can partner with the county government to ensure that Belgut or Sosiot Hospital benefit from the corporate social responsibility by Safaricom Limited, and we extend our appreciation to our own Honorable Senator Aaron Cheriot for the noble cause that he did in terms of negotiating with Safaricom Limited. Our honorable members, having said all those, and you have realized that this is a very important matter for the success of the county government. I have not mentioned a number of issues, including even the aspects of the asset register as raised by the Honorable Chairman of Committee on Lands. I want to direct as follows, that I know we have burdened the Committee on Implementation, but the Committee on Lands, you pick up this matter on your own motion, pick out the issues that have been raised in this report, even as we wait for the Committee on Implementation to do their work as per their standing order number 2 or 3, but listening to the issues that have been raised, the Honorable Chairman Lands. Of course, this report is adopted in this House, but the matters that have been raised, your committee to pick it up and probably plan accordingly, or you schedule so that you can table before the House in future. That is my directive on the same. So the Honorable Chairman Lands, you've got quite a lot of work to do when it comes to that, and we wish you and your committee all the best as you undertake the exercise. So we have come to an end to that report, and therefore we move to the next order of business. Clerk, next order.
Order number 8, motion by Majority Leader, Chairperson, Selection Committee.
The Honorable Leader of Majority, the Honorable Philip Rono, you can now move your motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Once again, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move a motion that this House adopts the report on the review of the County Assembly Committee membership. And Mr. Speaker, maybe to bring to the attention of the House that you had communicated earlier based on the challenges we are facing as a House in terms of coming up with the reports, Mr. Speaker, and other things.
Mr. Speaker, I don't want to preempt or to guess what was on your mind, Mr. Speaker, when you gave the Committee on Lands to develop a motion following today's report, Mr. Speaker. But my guess is as good as that of all the honorable members that is those pertaining to the implementation committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to start. Mr. Speaker, I think everybody has got the report, Mr. Speaker, and since it's a very essential report, Mr. Speaker, and it touches on the honorable members, Mr. Speaker, after weighing several options, Mr. Speaker, we've come up with these progress reports, which also, Mr. Speaker, act in itself as a warning to various chairs, Mr. Speaker, who sits in or who leads various committees, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the mandate of the committee, according to Standing Order number 167 of Kericho County Assembly Standing Orders, mandates the Committee on Selection to nominate members to serve in committees, save for the membership of the County Assembly's Business Committee and the Committee on Appointments. Those ones, Mr. Speaker, are the only committees that going into the future, Mr. Speaker, we might not interfere with them, Mr. Speaker. But the rest, Mr. Speaker, number 2, Mr. Speaker, the committee placed members to various committees in February 2023 and tabled the report that was adopted by the House. Mr. Speaker, members can peruse to see the membership, Mr. Speaker. I chair the same committee, Mr. Speaker. We have Honorable Gilbert Ngetich, we have Martin Cheruiyot, Albert Kipkoech, Richard Langat, Esron Kimweno, Peter Kemoi, Beatrice Chepkemoi, and Honorable Eric B. Mr. Speaker, I'll not even want to go through the many things, Mr. Speaker, but maybe to bring the members to this issue, Mr. Speaker, is that the nomination process of the current committee's membership in the constitution of the Assembly committees, the Committee on Selection adopted the following criteria. 1, members' wishes. Number 2, need to ensure regional balance, gender balance, perceived strength of committees, sectoral committees versus House committees, leadership positions in the House and the County Assembly Service Board. The last 2 adopted committees list. Mr. Speaker, the last one, Mr. Speaker, is members' profession, Mr. Speaker. The committee was also guided by the Constitutional Standing Orders and the County Government Act of 2012. The committee invoked the provisions of the County Assembly Standing Orders 169(1) and 2, which state as follows: in nominating members to serve in a select committee, the selection committee shall ensure that the membership of each committee reflects the relative majorities of the seats held by each of the assembly parties in the assembly. And in this case, Mr. Speaker, you know, we are only a one party, Mr. Speaker. That is the UDA that is dominating, Mr. Speaker, and that's the reason we don't have the leader of the minority party, Mr. Speaker. And in this case, Mr. Speaker, I reserve all the rights to guide in this matter, Mr. Speaker. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, despite the paragraph 1, a member belonging to a party other than assembly party or independent member may be nominated to serve in select committee, and the allocation of membership of the select committee shall be as nearly as practicable proportional to the number of members belonging to such parties and independent members. So in this case, Mr. Speaker, if it was a case where the assembly is divided along the parties, Mr. Speaker, the party had to send or to provide members joining various committees, Mr. Speaker, but in our case, the County Assembly of Kericho is special, Mr. Speaker. Number 5, Mr. Speaker, despite the above provisions, the Committee on Selection, in the spirit of togetherness and the need to bring a lasting unity in the Assembly, ensure that all the members were placed to serve in committees. The committee, however, resolved to have the majority party members take the leadership of the committees while considering regional balance and proportionate representation in the 6 sub-counties. Number 6, Mr. Speaker, the committee, in the consultation with the majority party, further consider the need to have every member actively participating in committees by allocating them responsibilities as chairpersons, vice chairperson, and members of board, and the members of the speakers panel. Considering the fallout that characterizes any competitive election and the need to seal out the perceived differences, the committee, in the consultation with the House leadership and the majority party, resolved not to subject the honorable members to a further election, save for Committee on Budget and Appropriations Committee that is composed of all elected members, as this could bring further divisions in case of a loss in committee elections. Mr. Speaker, maybe to take our honorable members back where we came from, Mr. Speaker, that is what had informed the formation of or the placement of various members to various committees, Mr. Speaker. But going into the future, Mr. Speaker, we are past the challenges that we were facing, Mr. Speaker. And in this case, going into the future, don't expect that we will adhere to the same issues, Mr. Speaker, that is now crumbling the performance of various committees. 2.1, Mr. Speaker, review of the County Assembly Committee membership. Following a communication in the floor of the House, the Honorable Speaker of the County Assembly directed that the Selection Committee reviews and constitute the membership of the Assembly Committees with a view of enhancing their performance. Among the reasons given for the directive were: 1, laxity by the committee chairman to steer their committees to perform and clear the pending businesses in their committees. Number 2, lack of commitment by members of the committees to their mandate. And 3, lack of the adherence to timelines in executing the committee's businesses, among others. You remember, Mr. Speaker, or I informed the House that the reason for this one, it was based on a communication and observation of the Honorable Speaker at that time, and he gave the directions to the committee on selection to review based on the underperformance of various committees, Mr. Speaker. I want to set it clear that it's not all the committees that are had several challenges, but some of the committees, Mr. Speaker, have to be reviewed. From the foregoing, the Selection Committee noted that there were a lot of matters pending before various committees. Aside, there was need to dispose of the matters with the current composition of membership. 3.0, Mr. Speaker, Committee Observations. The committee observed the following: that all honorable members had been placed to have responsibilities in committees as chairpersons, vice chairpersons, members of board, and members of the speakers panel. That as much as was practicable, the Committee on Selection ensured regional and gender balance in the placement of the members to various committees of the County Assembly. That the standing order aspects the number of sectoral committees assigned to a member to a maximum of 3. That there was a little or no effort by the honorable members to clear pending businesses by some committees. That there were honorable members who were not comfortable in their committees as chairmen, vice chairmen, or members. 4.0, Mr. Speaker, this is now maybe for the members who have just entered in, Mr. Speaker. This is just progress report. You will find the recommendations of the committees there, but I'll go through them, Mr. Speaker. In view of the committee's considerations and observations and pursuant to County Assembly Standing Orders number 168, 169, and 170, the committee recommends the following: that the review of membership to various committees is postponed by a further 30 days to enable the current composition of committees to dispose of pending matters. Mr. Speaker, we were told in Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, Mr. Speaker, they have more than 20 workloads, Mr. Speaker, that they need to dispose. And we saw it might delay maybe some works, Mr. Speaker. Immediately we finalize on the reconstitution. But the reconstitution, just for the information of the House, we are going on, Mr. Speaker. We are doing in our normal sittings, we are doing slowly, while considering, Mr. Speaker, the outputs. So the members have got 30 days to finalize on what is pending within their tables, Mr. Speaker. They need to dispose of table the reports in the House as we proceed as a committee with the process of rearrangement of the members in the various committees. Number two, Mr. Speaker, that the end of the members who are not comfortable in their committees as chairman, vice chairman, or members to notify the selection committee for further direction and action. So, Mr. Speaker, I think honorable members have heard that one clearly, Mr. Speaker. If you are not comfortable in any committee that you think you are serving, they need to write to the chairman for selection committee, Mr. Speaker, for consideration and subsequent removal from their committees to ensure smooth transition, Mr. Speaker. The third and the final recommendation, Mr. Speaker, is reconstitution of the committees. Membership will be done based on performance and commitment. So, Mr. Speaker, if I perceived myself as if that maybe I'm not performing in certain committee, Mr. Speaker, there is no need for me sitting in a committee that I'm not comfortable. But because we were doing this, Mr. Speaker, because of the challenges that we had, this time around, Mr. Speaker, we will be placing members based on committees, performance and commitment. And number two, Mr. Speaker, we had forgotten a professionalism, Mr. Speaker. It's only that it is in health department that we had considered putting maybe members who were specialists or professionals in medicine or medics, Mr. Speaker. We had placed them in the Committee on Health. But the other committees, Mr. Speaker, we had not considered the profession so much. And in this case, Mr. Speaker, this time round, we will work hard to ensure that we consider the issues of professionalism, for they will be adding a lot of input to the committees, Mr. Speaker. The final one, Mr. Speaker, acknowledgement. The committee wishes to thank the offices of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly for the necessary support extended to it in the execution of its mandate. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's my place and duty, pursuant to Standing Order number 170, to present the status report of the nomination of members to different committees by the Committee on Selection for consideration by the House. But for this case, Mr. Speaker, as I had said, this is just a progress report. We were updating, and based on the standing orders, Mr. Speaker, you see, when the Speaker makes a communication, we must bring the report on our progress, the way we are proceeding to the House. And for those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, allow me to invite Honorable Peter Kemoi, MCA representing Kapsuser, Mr. Speaker, to second this report. And I don't think we will be deliberating so much because it's just a progress report. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and God bless.
All right, thank you, the Honorable Leader of Majority, the Honorable Peter Kemoi, the member of County Assembly from Kapsuser and also a member of Selection Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir, for the opportunity you have granted to me. Permit me also to join you and my fellow colleagues in welcoming pupils from Saosa Primary School. Feel welcome, and I know that you have learned a lot during this time we are proceeding. Mr. Speaker, sir, as the chair has said, there are so many things that we considered, and I hope in the 30 days we have requested there will be massive changes that will take place, and we'll give an opportunity to our members to feel free, give us their recommendation, give us the committees that they are free to deliver, because we saw that there are so many challenges in various committees.
maybe weaknesses from the chair or the vice chair, and also the commitment also from the members. You know, a chair cannot deliberate on some issues alone, except when there is a commitment from the members. So we only give room at least for 30 days so that we come up with a very comprehensive report to this House. Otherwise, I second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, thank you, the Honorable Peter Kimoy, for seconding the motion. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that this House adopts the status report of Selection Committee on the review of membership to various county assembly committees. Honorable members, the floor is open, but I'll give just one honorable member. I'll give two, and I give a minute each. Honorable Kiprotich Rogon, I saw your hand was up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to contribute on this report. But first of all, Mr. Speaker, I wish to join my colleagues in welcoming the guests who are before us today. You're welcome to this county assembly. This is where we make laws. This is where we do what is expected of us, the mandate that the people gave us. You're welcome, learn, because in future, you are the people who might also join this House. Mr. Speaker, I support this report for two reasons. One, Mr. Speaker, if you check what we've been doing lately, is a number of other committees have been formed, and the issues addressed by these other committees are issues that ought to have been addressed by the various select committees. Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate we have members in those committees who are unable to push the agenda that they are supposed to do in the various committees. In fact, Mr. Speaker, a case in point is a Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. It is, I know of 3 petitions before the committee that have never been addressed. I'm not questioning the capacity of the chairman or the vice or the members. But Mr. Speaker, it will be very wrong for you to make another communication creating another committee to look into affairs that that committee ought to have looked into. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, there are a number of reports generated by this House through the members. And those reports, sometimes whenever we are supposed to do, it takes time because a number of our members either are absent or the chairman doesn't have that commitment. So, Mr. Speaker, it is wrong. And I want to request the majority, who is the chairperson of the select committee, the Committee on Selection, give us an opportunity for the members to place themselves in the various committees. It's a request. You know, initially, Mr. Speaker, we started on a very wrong footing. We had a case in point. I can give you an instance. Committee on Finance, I'm the only member from one sub-county called Sigawetsoin. 4 members are from Bureti, and 4 are from Ainamoi. It is totally imbalanced. I'm not saying that there is a problem in that committee, but the way it was formed, it came a point where people would be picked. Somebody was told, come here, the other one go there, even when such a member doesn't have capacity to do what he or she is supposed to do. I support this report, Mr. Speaker, and I want to believe immediately this communication is done, these members go to those committees and bring the changes that we all want. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
All right, thank you, the Honorable Kiprotich Rogon, MCA for Sigawet. Finally, the Honorable Anita Mibui, the only elected woman in the House, MCA from Chimosot. I give you 2 minutes.
Thank you,
Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity to also support this issue that we've talked about for a long time when it comes to seriousness on our various committees. Just listening to this, Mr. Speaker, sir, what came to my mind since we have the opportunity to relook into our committees is the way we've done a lot of ad hoc committees because of most of the committees not being in a position to look into various issues that face this county. And I want to support this and request our majority leader to actually, take time to relook into who is capable to do what, and also maybe call upon ourselves as honorable members for some seriousness, because if we will still operate the way we have been operating, even if we do changes today, and we are not committed, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's not going to be any difference. I like the issue of balancing what Honorable Ogon mentioned about. Maybe we can also look into that, but the most important thing is to look into maybe those who have specialized or those who can do what in different departments, and also maybe look at the passion, because some of us maybe were placed in committees that were not even interested. I'm sure a majority leader would by now identify who is good in JLAC. I've had a complaint on delays in JLAC, and Honorable Speaker, I think JLAC will fit Honorable Fancy a lot than anybody else. We know what she advocates for, and many others that we know by now. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I support this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, the Honorable Anita Mibei. Honorable members, let me now rise to put a question. Before then, Honorable the Leader of Majority, the mover of the motion, to reply. Please reply to your motion. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I reply, Mr. Speaker, thank you for the comments from the honorable members that we proceed with the matter of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. My able leader, deputy leader of majority, Mr. Speaker, was whispering to me as I said that this budget committee doesn't consider the 2/3 gender, Mr. Speaker. And I don't have the power now to, because of the standing order, Mr. Speaker. You know what the standing order says, Mr. Speaker. It's unless the Committee on Rules and Procedures, Mr. Speaker, and of which I know it is chaired by the Right Honorable Speaker, that is Honorable Dr. Patrick Cherian Mutai, PhD, and I believe they are in progress of doing amendments to the law or to the standing orders, and by immediately they finish and brings the report to the floor of the House is when I'll proceed, Mr. Speaker, then to constitute and make sure it is 2/3 gender rule of 7, Mr. Speaker. And for those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say thank you to honorable members. In the next 30 days, we meet here. I know it will not be a business as usual, Mr. Speaker. If you are lazy, you will hit from the plot of the lazy. And if you are hard working and your committee has been doing good, get assured that the chairman here is very observant, and he will not do any changes in those committees that they've proved to be so hard working, Mr. Speaker. Even me, Mr. Speaker, I know of committees that I have not been attending, Mr. Speaker, as a member, and I'll be categorically, Mr. Speaker, I'll be loyal, and I'll even remove myself from the same committee, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Okay. Thank you, the Leader of Majority. That is leadership from your end.
I now rise to put a question that this House adopts the status report of Selection Committee on the review of membership to various county assembly committees. Will as many as are of that similar opinion say aye? Will as many as are of that contrary opinion say nay? And the ayes have it. Honorable members, we have come to an end of our morning session, and I continue to extend our welcome to our visiting pupils and teachers from Saosa Primary School, that is from Chaik Ward. Immediately after this, Sergeant at Arms and Office of the Clerk, you engage our visitors together with the Honorable MCS from Chaik Ward and any other honorable member, more so from the Committee on Education. And therefore, this assembly stands adjourned until 2:30 p.m.